Chapter 5. The Treasure Map. The next morning, Faria showed Dantes 2 pieces of paper. Dantes put the 2 pieces together and noticed something exciting. This is a treasure map. It tells how to find a treasure on an island called Monte Cristo, Dantes said.
Yes, said Faria. When I understood that, I left for Monte Cristo immediately. But soldiers caught me before I could get the treasure. If we ever escape, half of this treasure is yours. If I die here, it is all yours. You are like my son.
The days passed. Dantes kept thinking about revenge against Danglars and Caderousse. Faria kept thinking about escape. Because of his illness, Faria could not work hard, but he still taught Dantes how to do many useful things. He also gave Dantes useful information. One night, Faria said weakly,
Edmund, my time has come.
Don't say that, cried Dantes. I can save you.
You gave me great happiness, said Faria. If you escape, I hope you go to Monte Cristo, take the treasure, and make those you love happy.
Dantes quickly got the bottle of medicine and poured some into the old man's mouth. Faria moved. His eyes opened but then closed again. Then the old man was silent and still. Crying quietly, Dantes returned to his cell. In the morning, Dantes heard the guards enter Faria's cell with breakfast. They found the old prisoner's dead body. "Get him ready for a Chateau d'If grave," said one guard. After the guards left, Dantes went back to Faria's cell. On the bed, he saw a long cloth bag. Faria's body was inside it. Dantes had an idea. Quickly, he pulled Faria's body out of the bag. He took his old friend's body to his own cell. There, he hid the body in his bed. Next, Dantes found his broken piece from his mug. He thought he might need it. Then he returned to Faria's cell. He got inside the bag and tried to look like the dead body. After a long wait, Dantes heard footsteps. Two guards entered the room and lifted him up. "He is heavy for a thin old prisoner," said one guard.
Have you tied it on?
The other guard asked. "Not yet. We don't want to carry extra weight," the first guard said. "Tied it on? Tied what on?" Dantes asked himself. The guards carried Dantes up some steps. Suddenly, Dantes felt the cold sea air. Soon, the guard stopped and put Dantes down. Dantes heard them drop a heavy weight next to him. Then they tied the weight to his feet and picked him up again. "1," said the men together. "2, 3. Suddenly, Dantes was falling. Then he splashed into the cold water. A large stone tied to his feet pulled him down toward the bottom of the sea. Chapter 6. Escape. Dantes quickly cut open the bag with the broken piece from his mug. He freed himself, but the stone pulled him down and down. He was very weak, but Dantes reached down and cut the stone free. Then he swam quickly up for air. He was very close to the prison. On top of the prison wall, two men held a light and looked down. Dantes put his head under the water. Then he swam underwater as far as he could. When he came up, he could not see any light from Chateau d'If. Dantes swam for hours. Finally, he saw a ship. He shouted and waved his hands, so the ship sent a small boat for him. Dantes was too weak to keep swimming. His head began to go below the water when Jacopo, a man from the ship, pulled him up. Then everything turned black. When Dantes opened his eyes, he learned where he was. He was on the ship called the Young Amelia. It delivered goods secretly, so they did not have to pay taxes. The captain agreed to let Dantes stay if he would work. Now I am closer to getting revenge, thought Dantes. When the ship reached Livorno, Dantes got a shave and a haircut. He looked at the changes to his face. During the years he was in prison, his face had become stronger, wiser, and sadder. I don't recognize myself, he thought. I am a stranger. Then he wondered, how can I reach Monte Cristo and bring the treasure back safely? Day and night, he thought about this problem, but waited for the right time. One evening in Livorno, the captain of the Young Amelia told his men, "We must go. I need to meet a ship from Turkey. We must go to a place where nobody will see me and the other captain talking." The captain said they would sail to the island of Monte Cristo. Chapter 7. Monte Cristo. The Young Amelia arrived at the island in the evening. Dantes went onto the island. Where is the treasure? He thought. I must wait until morning to look for it. The next morning, Dantes quietly walked away while the men rested. He found a path just like the one in Faria's map. Dantes followed the path. He noticed stones with marks on them. Where the marks stopped, Dantes found a rock too big and heavy to move. He decided to return to his friends. From the beach, the men from the Young Amelia saw Dantes. They watched him climb down from some large rocks. But then he fell. The men ran to Dantes and found him on the ground. Dantes did not move. The captain asked, "Is he dead?" Jacopo looked closely at Dantes. "No," he said, "he is not dead." After a while, Dantes opened his eyes. He told them that his leg hurt badly. "We must sail this morning," the captain said. "Try to carry him onto the ship," he told two men.
"No," Dantes said. "My leg hurts too much. Leave me here with some food and an axe."
"We will come back in a week," the captain said.
Jacopo said, "I will stay with you, Dantes." "You would give up your share of the money from working on the ship to stay with me?" Dantes asked. "Yes, my friend," said Jacopo. "You are very kind," said Dantes, "but I don't want anyone to stay with me. I will be all right." So the men gave Dantes what he asked for and sailed away. Dantes hadn't really fallen. He had just wanted to be alone. He returned to the large rock. He noticed that there were small stones and dirt all around it. It looked like someone put the stones and dirt there. Dantes moved the small stones from the top. He made a small hole. He put his arm into the hole, but still he could not move the big rock. Dantes used the axe to cut a strong branch from a tree. Then he put one end of the branch into the hole and pulled on the other end. He pulled as hard as he could. The rock moved. Then it began to roll. The rock rolled down the hill and splashed into the sea. Behind where the rock had stood, Dantes found steps. The steps went down into a dark underground room. In the room, Dantes found a big wooden chest. Gold coins, gold cups, and gold rings were in the chest. Dantes had found the treasure. Chapter 8. Home Again. Dantes took some of the gold and jewels. He put them in his pocket. Then he hid the rest of the treasure. "These riches will give me great power," he said to himself. "Now I can get revenge on Danglars and Caderousse." When the young Emilia returned, Dantes walked to the ship as if his leg hurt. As the ship sailed to Genoa, Dantes told his shipmates that he would leave them. His shipmates were not happy, but the captain agreed to leave him in Genoa. Dantes looked at his friend Jacopo. Jacopo looked very unhappy. Dantes asked Jacopo, "Will you help me? I need a man like you to work for me." "Yes," said Jacopo happily. "I would like that." Dantes smiled. He told his friend, "Then we will both leave this ship in Genoa. Get your things ready." In Genoa, Dantes sold the jewels he had. Then he bought a ship for Jacopo. Then he told Jacopo, "Here is your first job. I want you to sail to Marseille. When you get there, look for 4 people. One is an old man named Dantes. Another is a woman named Mercedes. The others are 2 men, one named Caderousse, and one named Danglars. Find out all that you can about these people." After Jacopo sailed away, Dantes also bought a small boat for himself, which he then sailed back to Monte Cristo. Dantes moved the treasure to his boat
and sailed for his home in Marseille. In Marseille, nobody recognized Dantes. He told people he was the Count of Monte Cristo. Dantes found Jacopo. His man had done well and found out many things. However, the news was not very good for Dantes. Sadly, his father had died while Dantes was in prison. Danglars had become rich, but then he lost everything. After that, Danglars left France. Caderousse still lived in the same place, but he was very poor. Then there was the news about Mercedes. She and Morel had worked for many years to get Dantes out of prison. In the end, Mercedes married a very bad man. She had a son named Albert, who was a young man now. Dantes met Albert, and they both liked each other very much. When Albert took Dantes to see his mother, Mercedes recognized the Count right away. However, she did not say anything. Later, Mercedes went to meet Dantes alone. They shared the stories of their lives. Mercedes decided to leave her husband, but she would not go with Dantes. It was too late for them to be together. Dantes thought about the love and wisdom his father, Mercedes, Faria, and Jacopo all gave to him. He decided he did not want revenge anymore. "Nobody knows what tomorrow will bring," he told Jacopo. "We can only wait and hope."